Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Review with me. I am your host Maxine and we are reviewing Love is Blind season 10, episode 10, 11 and 12. We're going to just jump right all into these episodes. To all three, okay? Look, we know how it ended, but I'm going to go back a little bit because there are some highlights I want to point out and I didn't record it earlier. So we're doing it right now. Okay, so shout out to y'all. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Click the link in the description box to buy me a coffee. That is a small donation that you could contribute to. That will be greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and like the video. Hit that thumbs up button. So some of the highlights from episodes 10 and 11. We start off the episode 10, with Ashley catching Alex in another lie, or should I say omission, but technically that is still a lie. And Priyanka, shout out to Priyanka's name, because isn't that featured in one of Nicki Minaj's songs? I swear it is. Or no, that's Sri Lanka. Never mind. Same thing. They all the same, right? It's a joke. Anyway, so you have this three-way conversation between Priyanka, Ashley, and Alex, and they're questioning the timeline of when he said he lived in Austin. Apparently, he didn't disclose that he lived in Austin with his ex, but his interpretation is, well, I only stayed with her for a week, but I was living on my own. And honestly, I couldn't even follow. And I feel like that's enough, right? I feel like that's enough. If I can't follow what you're saying, what you're putting down on the table, that's enough for me to be like, yeah, it's going to be a no for me, dog. And that ultimately was a no for her. But I'm gonna jump around. I'm gonna jump around because we cannot talk about the weddings, right? So when we got to that part between Ashley and Alex, spoiler alert, Ashley says no. But what's funny is Alex was the one who was asked the question first. Would you is love blind, and will you say yes, all of that. And before he even got a chance to speak, she cuts him off. Well, she didn't even cut him off technically, but she starts speaking and she says, I already know what you're going to say. And this comes from a place of, I feel like she's coming from a place of insecurity because he has vocalized to her that she is not his type. Doesn't mean that she's unattractive, but she is not the type that he usually goes for. And that has clearly internalized within Ashley, to the point that she just assumed that he would say no because of that reason. And we remember from a previous episode, Ashley was perturbed that he was not touchy-feely over her, right? He was not just sexing her up as soon as they got back from Mexico. And she felt like that was a form of rejection. And look, I want to normalize women wanting sex, right? And finding pleasure in sexual relations with their partner, a man in this case, because that's like, maybe one of their love languages or maybe their primary love languages. And I feel like sometimes society like to paint women as, oh, you have no self-esteem because, you're internalizing a man deciding not to have sex with you as a way of rejection. I don't think it's that, right? I don't think it's that. Let me just go there. I don't think it's that. I feel like that's maybe I have low self-esteem too. I mean, if that's the case, if that's the metric you want to go off of. But I feel like if your man does not want to touch up on you, right? If your man is purposely just giving you the cold shoulder, whether it's subliminally or obviously, I would be upset as well. I don't think it's a determination or an immediate one of this person has low self-esteem. I just want to say that. I just want to put that out there. Sorry, my dog. I don't know if you can hear him squeezing his toy while I'm recording. Anyway, so yeah, she says no. She does this whole spiel talking about you have no integrity and saying no to you is a win, and just going off. And it's like, okay, ooh, you're girl boss, but ma'am, you picked him. Hello? You picked him and you stayed with him until this very moment. Now, granted, maybe she gets a stipend. They all get a stipend for making it to the wedding part, probably. But I just feel like her painting him as this abhorrent bad guy, I feel like is a little imbalanced. I think it's a little imbalanced just because she is someone who is notorious for picking poorly when it comes to men. She has said that, her dad has said that, and that's just a thing that she recognizes. So where is the self-responsibility here? Hello? Where is the self-responsibility? Anyway, going back to episode 10. Priyanka and Ashley basically got Alex in a corner. They paint him as a liar. He gets defensive. He says, should I let you know the next time I rub one out? Well, he doesn't rub. Should I let you know the next time I stroke this dick? Should I let you know that? Should I let you know that? We move on to Bri and Connor. Chris tells, he tries to put the moves on her. He tries to put the moves on her. He tells her how he'll take her to the seasons? What is it? Holiday Inn? Which which high comfort inn? Which one of those hotels of the Four Seasons? He's telling her, I can take you to Four Seasons. I'm that nigga. Okay, you would not regret it with me. And I think it's just a simple case of the short man syndrome, Napoleon complex. But in this case, Bri is soaking it in. I think she's like reveling in this attention. And she later tells Connor about this and tries to act like she rose above it. She's trying to act like, I just was rolling my eyes and I can't, he's crazy. Like, girl, you was getting wet. You was getting wet when Chris was talking that big talk to you, that big talk for a little man. Bri and Connor, they have a date on a train, which I thought is cute. I think it was like a nice, cute movie scene. I didn't realize the train was gonna actually move, though. I thought it was a sitting train. She tells him a lot. Have y'all noticed? She tells him a lot that I love how much you love me. I love how you love me. I love the way you love me. It's always about Bri. Okay, it's never about I love our love or I love you so much and here are the reasons why. It's always I love the way you love me. The way you love me, oh my God, it just tears me up. And Connor is just smiling ear to ear, so proud of himself. And I think Connor's a good guy. I just feel like he's such a nice guy that he doesn't stand up for himself enough for him to not be walked over. And I think in this instance, it just was a subtle example of him being walked over. Like, oh, I love the way you love me, but bitch, what about you loving me? What about that? She later on breaks it off with him in this weird conversation that starts off with the same thing. I love the way you love me. And it leads to, him finally being told by Bri that I just don't know if I'm ready to be loved by you. Girl, get out of my face, please. We jump to Chris. Okay, so there's a scene, when all of them are out together. Chris tries to talk to Jess. Jess is not here. Well, I mean, she's mature. You could see why she's a doctor, right? You could see probably this is her bedside manner, right? She knows how to be professional. She knows how to be warm and kind, even in times when you're undeserving. And Chris is definitely undeserving. But this conversation is like not even an issue. We get to Amber and Jordan. Jordan starts talking to the guys about how he is not necessarily unsure, but he just feels nervous about marrying Amber because he feels like he just wants her daughter to love him, right? He wants her daughter to like him and approve of him. And there's this like just hesitation about it all because he's worried what if she doesn't like him, right? And I think these are natural words, these are natural fears. But Amber overhears this and she immediately has a breakdown. She says, well, if you don't want to marry me, just say that. It's fine. Just say that. Just fine. And I think this speaks to a larger issue here. I think this speaks to the stigmatization of single mothers in America. And I feel really sorry for Amber and many single mothers out here who just carry that weight. Okay. You should not be ashamed of having a child with someone whom you're not married to, with someone who you're not with anymore, and with someone whose father never had a marriage with. The point is, people have children. Can we just stop there? People have children. Okay, people have children, and sometimes these children are born in a marriage and sometimes they are not born in a marriage. And I feel like we just have to move forward from this Puritan mindset of, well, this baby was born out of wedlock. That means I'm unworthy to be loved. It's just so sad. It's so sad because reproductively, this is what you're naturally able to do. Right. And granted, there are many women and men who struggle from fertility. But ultimately, if you are bearing children, why is there even any room to shame someone for having a child out of wedlock? It's just so silly. Anyway, I could go on and on about that. But yeah, she has this meltdown because, again, she's coming from this space of insecurity and probably being isolated from people in her life and made to feel like just not a whore, but like just someone who doesn't make right decisions, right? So she's carrying all those, all of that. And she has this meltdown. She doesn't really want to talk to Jordan about it and have a civilized conversation. Jordan is clearly being patient here. He's clearly being kind and trying to be mature here. But Amber doesn't return to their shared apartment. I think she stays out for a little bit. And Amber, I need you to know how to communicate. I need you to know how to communicate. I need you to know how to properly voice your concerns and your insecurities. And this is a growing thing, right? A lot of us we weren't taught how to be emotionally intelligent. Even that term itself is relatively new. So I think ultimately with Amber, I just hope she learns how to be mature in her emotions. We get Vic and Christine. They're just a love story that is just bubbling in love, right? I love to see them. They talk about I love you deeply. It's just so sweet. In this moment here, I did write down that we haven't seen Vic's family. And we learned that Christine actually meet his mom and his sister, who actually marries them. She meets them the day of the wedding, which I thought was interesting. Why? I don't know. Maybe it was a scheduling thing, but nonetheless, I have nothing to say about them. All I have to say is, why haven't we seen enough of them? Why haven't we seen them interact with the other couples? Why have they been an isolated bunch? It's just unfortunate, but nonetheless, I really appreciate their love story, and it's nice to see, a success. And granted, Love is Blind is relatively successful compared to Married at First Sight, for example, or Ready to Love. Hello? None of them are married or ready in love or in it, okay? Anyway, Britney and Devonte. Britney, I wrote down, she settles for him not complimenting or affirming her. And she tries to rationalize, not even rationalize. She just says to herself, I understand you're not the type to compliment me. I'm just going to accept it. And it's to the point where, girl, Britney, stand up. I feel so sorry for her, just in general, because she has pedestalized getting married and having children, under the context of marriage, of course, because she said that. She has done that so much so that it is blinding her from what is happening right in front of her. This man does not want you, Britney. Britney, she's such a beautiful woman. She is a lot of men's type. That's the thing. And maybe she isn't then. And I just brought that up because I remember Alex said to her directly, "You're my type." So ultimately, I mean, she's on the show, and I don't want to shoot people down for going on a show. This is like the new wave. Okay, a lot of us in the next few years will be on a show on TV. Okay, on Netflix, Hulu, wherever. Some people will be on a show, but nonetheless, I feel like Britney. I just think it's just so strange to me how she has not been successful in her, and I think it's because of her. Let me just start there. I think she lacks a self-awareness or self-confidence that it projects so poorly onto her significant other, and it makes the man feel so insufferable in this, like, he is suffering. He is visibly suffering, and I don't even like Devonte, but he is visibly trying to get out, and she's not getting the message, nor does she care. I think that's what it is. I think she's holding on to dear life. And until Devonte says directly, I'm not picking you, until he says that verbatim too. He needs to say that verbatim and directly to Britney, so she understands, and she doesn't try to kind of change the reality here. Like, no, that's not what he meant. What he really meant, because he held me. He really doesn't want to be with me. He doesn't want to marry me right now. And that leads me to the next point. Because we get to the wedding scene and they're not getting married. Because he's talking about how he has doubts. And she's crying to us in the confessional, saying how, she was looking forward to this. She had family fly in, and it was going to be this whole thing. But he did her a solid. Let me just say that. I don't like Devonte, but he did her a solid. I would rather not say no to you and embarrass you in front of your family. But maybe he should have. Did that. Let me bring that back. Maybe he should have did that, because I don't think she would get the picture until it's done clearly in her face, and also until it's done in the front of some witnesses. I think if her parents saw how he could have rejected her at the altar, I think they probably would have slapped some sense into her and say, he doesn't want you. You need to move on. Period. I think that's what it would have taken. But no, Devonte, being the bitch ass nigga that he is, but being the man that he is, who is very introverted, he is withdrawn from sharing his emotions clearly too. He is not going to take the direct route. Instead, he's going to go around the way. And then she's still sitting there talking about, it doesn't mean we're not together. We're still engaged. We're just not getting married right now. And I'm like, what? Who's going to tell her? Is the producer going to come in and be like, ma'am, we're going to end this relationship for you? I think that's what should have happened. We get to Emma and Mike. They end off episode 11 with this cliffhanger. Emma started like she was going to say no, but I don't believe Emma at all. I don't believe Emma from the day I saw her. I think immediately her talking about her being from adopted parents and that being her idea. Enough. I'm tired of these sob stories about adopted kids. Okay, were you abused? I'm sorry. Were you abused? It looks like her white parents, loved the hell out of her. It looks like they afforded her opportunities upon opportunities. It looks like they took care of her health complications. It looks like she was loved. Okay? She's crying so much about being Asian. I don't know what she's crying about, but she's just always talking about being adopted. Like, why is that your fucking identity, dog? Okay? You know how many people out here may not be technically adopted, but have been raised by people who weren't their biological parents, right? Maybe their parents were strung out. Maybe their parents just wasn't in the financial means to raise them, or maybe their parents mentally was unstable, and instead they were raised by their grandparents, their aunts, their uncles, and that was their family dynamic. Enough. I don't want to hear adoption anymore. Okay. Anyway, Emma talking about she's doing all this yada yada yada. Mike had to say finally no. Mike had to say no. Cause he wanted to bring up the whole kid thing too. And even aside from the kid thing, their love story was null and void. Can we stop there? Their love story was null and void. What was it? We never saw them cuddling and canoodling, and I wasn't convinced. I wasn't convinced at all. We get to Amber and Jordan. Amber starts off her like speech and saying how who wants to walk into that? Pointing to the fact that she has a kid. What man wants to walk? What? You know how many women are walking into relationships with men who already have kids? Can we stop? Amber, I need you to get up too. Or stand up. Whatever that video said. Stand up. Enough. I just feel so sorry for her. It's really sad how much she just feels so bad. And this actually, she's not the first single mother on this show. Remember that other one? Was it 2 seasons ago? And she has her daughter, and she was kind of nervous about, not nervous, but she was hiding it, low-key hiding the fact that she has a kid. And it finally got revealed. She finally revealed that she does have a kid. But she never talked about it in the sense of I should be ashamed because I have a kid. Or I don't know. I just feel like it's just so silly. It's just so silly to me. Jordan, we learned that Jordan actually meets or met her daughter. And it seems like her daughter was opening up to him, and maybe in that first, I don't know. She was, when we see the daughter later on, the daughter looked like she was not approving. Let's start there. The daughter looked like she has to work through emotions of jealousy. And jealousy is a natural emotion we all feel, but especially when you're young, 7 years old, I don't know if she has the tools or the language to even vocalize how she's feeling. So I think that's how the way she's coming off, not to talk about a kid, but it looked like she wasn't really happy. I don't think she was. I don't know if she even knows what's going on. And I'm to the point where enough of, and not to, again, I don't want to stigmatize these single mothers, but maybe they shouldn't be on the show. And the single fathers. I'm not even going to just pinpoint the single mothers. I don't think anybody on Love is Blind should have children before they come on the show. Okay? If you have a kid, you should be disqualified. Period. But maybe that will slim the pickings even more, and that'll be kind of a hard watch. But nonetheless, Jordan's family looks so cute. Can we talk about them? They look so cute. They all look like each other. Jordan and Amber, we learned that they only spoke for 2 seconds the day of their wedding. Jordan vocalized to his family how he does not want to move to Mount Vernon. He wants to be in the mix. He wants to go to concerts. He wants to live in the downtown area. And he is visibly nervous. It appears as if he was still deciding what he plans to do. It wasn't something that was already decided previous to this moment. Amber's brother tells his sister how he expects Jordan to say no. And I thought that was a funny thing. Why would you say that to your sister? As she is already in her wedding dress looking good. Anyway, we get to the part between Jordan and Amber. They're at the altar. Jordan doesn't really give much of a speech. I don't know if he's emotionally mature either. And I don't want to judge him on his home because people are trying to say, oh, he has a game room. So I'm about to get a game room. I already have the materials. I already put some gaming materials together. Okay. I don't want to. Okay. So what? There's an age limit? Hello? No. But anyway, Jordan and Amber, they're in the vow section. Jordan gives a short speech. Amber is talking long, but I notice she's speaking in third person. Then she also says, I do, but I understand if there are any doubts because I have a lot going on. And me having this kid, I know it's a lot going on. My kid's right in the front center. She knows I'm talking about her. She's a lot going on. Like, God damn. I would feel bad if I was a 7-year-old kid. What do you mean I'm a lot going on? I I thought that was offensive. And I don't even have any kids. Not yet. We'll see. But nonetheless, they said I do. They said I do to each other. And it was, when I tell you it was an audible gasp in that room, everyone was shocked. Like, wait, what? Y'all want to be together? Jordan, you said yes? But the way Jordan said yes, though, it wasn't definitive. So much so that the officiant asked, I'm gonna need an answer from you. She's like, yeah, no, that's my answer. Because he says, I want to say yes. And then he paused. And then the officiant's like, so is that a yes? And he says, yes. And everyone was like, what? He wants to marry a woman who has a kid? Like, god damn. I would feel, my self-esteem would be to the ground if I was Amber. Everyone's shocked. Damn, you can't love me already? I don't know. I wouldn't like that. Anyway, they're roaring in claps. Okay, we talk about Britney and Devonte. He's not picking her, but she doesn't recognize it, and she still says they're engaged. Okay, girl, whatever makes you happy. He also says that he's not a fortune teller. He also tells us that he didn't like that she already had a pre-bought wedding dress. Here's the thing, Devonte, please. You know how many women, not to say like there are women who, I don't know if there are women who actually already pre-buys their wedding dress, but that's an extra step. Okay, fine. But there are a lot of women who already have an image of what they want their dress to look like, right? There are women who have fantasized about this day since they were young. So it should not be such a turnoff or a point of concern for you, Devonte, that she pre-bought her wedding dress and I don't feel special because, she would have just married anybody. Yeah, she would have. Hello? But she chose you. She chose you. And you chose her, and now this pre-bought wedding dress could be used in our wedding. I just think in this moment, Devonte was trying to find anything to make her look bad, to try to paint her as this, she's not really committed or serious about me. I can't trust her. He was throwing anything at the wall. Because first he brings up the whole prenup because apparently he makes $30K a month. Doing what? What does he do? He trades? He trades for a living? You know how unstable that income is? What do you do for real? What's your real 9 to 5? Because if that's a supplemental income, cool. Yeah, $30K a month supplementally. That's great, but that's not guaranteed the next month. So what are we talking about? Anyway, I feel like Devonte, he was throwing anything at the wall to break it off with her, but she was not getting it. He's talking about, I want to get a prenup. She cries a little bit, but she says, okay, fine, sure. Then he says the whole, the pre-bought wedding dress turned him off, and he finally cancels the wedding, but she still thinks that they're still engaged. And then he also says she feels like a shadow to him. Britney, please leave this man alone. Please leave this man alone. So, another thing, we haven't met Devonte's family or friends. Britney has not met his mom in person. We haven't seen any scene of her meeting any of his people. So it was evident that he was not trying to marry her. So we talked about Alex and Ashley. She cuts him off before he even gets a chance to speak. And that was crazy. I didn't think that was necessary. Granted, Alex does come off like a liar, but girl, you bad too. You bad too. Not to say that she's a liar, but you picked him. You picked him though. And we end off with a beautiful ending with Vic and Christine. He's talking about you're a special woman. You're my woman. You're my rib. Oh my gosh. This is so sweet. All right. And that's the end of this review, y'all. Let me know what you think about these last 3 episodes of Love is Blind season 10. Next week is coming up in a few days, actually, by the time you hear this recording. The reunion episode will be arriving shortly, and I can't wait to review that, watch that, and let y'all know my thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Subscribe, like, share, and click that link in the description box to buy me a coffee. Bye.